Hello again, Immortal Angel, and I'm doing Bobbybearhug. This is the design that I came up with, and the doll that I'm going to be using is going to be Claudine. I picked her primarily for the ears. Either way, off to customize. Of course, first things first, you cut her hair off, and I decided to save the hair because I like the color. Dunk the head in hot water to soften the vinyl before you yank it off. Remove the remainders of the hair out of the head. Remove the face with acetone and remember to wash it with warm soapy water afterwards. Now, because Bobbybearhug is a bear, we need to round out those ears. And you can use an X-Acto knife to carve it down, but I decided not to. So Claudine's ears are safe for now. What I am gonna do is use clay to round out the ears. So just take a pinch of air-dry clay and try to round them out. Now I can also use water to smooth out any imperfections. Now I had lost some footage, so the pattern that I'm using is from G3 Frankie's core doll, her jacket, which I just used a rose pattern fabric, which I found at Joann's. And yeah, I kept the collar and did it as a green ribbon, but the other blues on that jacket I did not keep. So that's the finished jacket. Her dress is also very simple, just a circle skirt with a basic top. The only interesting thing that I added to it was a ribbon sewed on by the side seams, kind of like what you see in normal clothes. I added more ribbon around the neckline, but that is how the dress looks so far. Now on the doll, it was really short, and I wasn't completely convinced. So I consulted some coworkers on it, and they said that I was fine with the trim that I chose to put on the bottom. Since I was already planning on doing that, it just added length to the skirt and made it look somewhat normal. I am also giving her tights by using, ironically, an old pair of tights of my own, which I just sewed on there. Now for her shoes, I'm using a pair of Claudine's, what was that line even called? Her ballet shoes, basically, is what they are. Now, they're going to be modified because I'm cutting that toe part off, which, that was a challenge. And then later I decided that I was going to cut off the strap there because it would be too much of a hassle to try to hide the moon detailing. So then I painted them pink with red accents and hot glued some red roses on them. And I also filled the chop up parts with hot glue, and I painted on detail for her tights, which, note, do it on a spell doll. It will bleed through the fabric because, again, it's through tights, so it's quite thin. Either way, that's the finished outfit there, which I think is absolutely adorable. For whatever reason, I did not show the backside because I added a red pom-pom to be her tail. Either way, I sand the body down and begin painting her red. After several coats of the red paint, I paint her hands and her feet pink. I also take the time to paint the head and also the inner part of her ears. Which, note, the air dry clay will pop off just because of the nature of the vinyl. And here's me trying to blush. For whatever reason, I couldn't find a color that actually would show up on the red. I don't even know what type of brand of pastels that I have. The red is really good, same thing with the black with staining. But the other colors aren't as good for whatever reason. So I struggled. Now for the hair. I'm using yarn. And I tried filming me cutting or deciding the length, but my sketchbook's a bit too big. But yeah, I used 2 different kinds of pink and then a red. Each are a bit shiny, but yeah, me struggling. Either way, this is how much of both pinks, and that's how much of the reds. I decided that it was a bit too much, because I was already going to be splitting this, but I was splitting them in 2s instead of 4s. So there was still like 2 strands wrapped around each other. Either way, that's what it all looks like after I was done separating it. And I had already begun rerooting, which I was just doing the hairline. I wasn't doing any of the filling because of the nature of yarn. Either way, that's what she looks like halfway through, and I had to make new holes to finish the reroot due to the hairstyle that I wanted. So she had a mohawk of pins in her hair for a little bit. Either way, that's her after it's done and partially parted or partially done for the face up to begin. Oh yeah, and I also reattached the head back to the body because I, for some reason, do not like doing the face up when the head is still separated. Either way, and she is too tall. So first attempt, and the green really worked on her face for whatever reason, so I was planning on keeping it, but then, oh yeah, more purple to try to get some. It made her face look a little flat. And then the eyes. I feel like I messed up the eyes the first time around. But I was going to go back and fix them with the eyeshadow. But then the pink mustache. Bobbybearhug, for whatever reason, only has slight pink on her top lip, but not fully around. So I washed it off and decided to do more so a heart design. It still looks a little weird, but oh well. And I think I did the eyes a lot, or did the whites of the eyes a lot better. And I forgot to do the pastel green when I did that, so yeah. Also, with me using acrylics, it kind of added a lot more volume to her lips because I didn't have the cupid bow when I did her lip color. Either way, doing the green eyeshadow. And changing the lower lid to a different, darker shade of green. Of course, this is where I tend to trim up the eyes if I don't completely like them. A green eye. And then my tablet started having issues. So, yeah, I did a lot of her face off camera, being added a light green around her eye, the whites, baby hair, and of course her lips. And then me trying to do her hair. I found these heart beads that were super cute that I wanted to use in her hair, just because of the hairstyle that I was going to go for. So I took about 4 strands to get the beads in before tying it off into bubble braids, which this was my first attempt into doing bubble braids, which I mimicked each side after each other. So, yeah. Overall, I really liked how she came out. I think she's adorable, but she is also very much a Valentine's type doll, which means she's gonna come out quite a bit. Either way, that is the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one. We are doing Picky Piggy next time.